Hello. Hello. Am I audible? Yes. Good evening, everyone. So let us wait 1 or 2 minutes so that the other students also join. Then we'll start the class. Okay, good evening, everyone. Let us start the class. Sufficient students have joined. So, we will look at a few very important things that have happened in the last week. Okay, recently a judgment came. I believe you all are aware of something called as PWS reservation. I will give you a brief background about this, and then we'll move to this news and why we believe that this judgment basically opens a Pandora's box. Pandora's box is a story that there is a box. If you open the box, but may come out of it, you cannot imagine. There could be things which are out of your control. This is one of that judgment. It will lead to things which are literally out of control. Yes. Good evening, Afifa. Thank you. Okay. So so far, what we understand by the policy of reservation. First thing, the reservation is as a policy is basically we call this as affirmative actions. Affirmative actions, meaning any kind of initiative by the government in favor of somebody. It's called affirmative. Affirms. It affirms that you may have been deprived of something, and the government thinks that you must get something extra. For example, in a metro, reserving the first coach, the Delhi metro, the first coach is reserved for ladies or the girls. So basically, it's an affirmative action in favor of girls to keeping certain conditions in mind. A special coach of the metro has been reserved for the girls exclusively. That's a kind of affirmative action in favor. Yes, social evil is one part of it. Yes, kind of positive discrimination. Yes, you can say that also. So reservation is one of the strongest affirmative action in India. Strongest. So we have to trace a bit, I would go into a very brief story because this reservation topics requires at least 2 or 3 classes to cover in complete. So whosoever is teaching you polity or will teach you polity will cover this in detail. We will just look at the, I would say, a kind of summary up till here. Then we will understand this EWS judgment. Okay, basically what happened, Ambedkar was of the opinion that those who are socially segregated must stay politically segregated. Haram, you're dropping ball in the class. Basically, it says what is the thing is those who are socially segregated must be politically segregated. What is the idea? The very simple idea is for that to understand, we need to have a brief understanding of Varna system. The Varna system we know they are Brahmins, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudras. These are the 4 branches or 4 divisions within the society of India, or basically it's a feature of Hinduism. Hinduism divides people Brahmin, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudras. Those who are excluded of this system are known as untouchables. Those who are excluded are known as untouchables. These were the people who were never considered as a part of the society. These were the people who largely did the menial works. You know, the cleaning of latrines, the cleaning of sewage, and these kind of things, which were other people considered not to be very suitable. Now it has very complicated relation with sanitation in India. That's why you see Pradhan Mantri is promoting every sanitary toilet in every household. But what is the problem? The problem is historically we have understood, especially these 4 3 Varnas, they understood that having a toilet in your house is pollution. They consider it's pollution. It is something this Sudras and untouchables are supposed to do. So it's the pollution of the society, and they do not want that pollution. But it's a social custom, a bad one, of course. So that's one side of it. Another side is the people, a large part of SCs. If I go by like this, Brahmin, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, and untouchables. Out of the Varna system are untouchables. Some part of Shudras and entire untouchables are now today known as SCs. These are SCs. Other is STs. scheduled tribes. These are the tribes which have lived their entire life in basically the jungles. So they were never considered, they were never integrated into the society. This is something we did, I think, 2 weeks back. What you're asking, we did, I think, 2 or 3 weeks back, we did this issue of that reservation is extended. The news was Christian reservation. There was argument, government was thinking, wo same cheez hai. Initially, there was the reservation. It's a feature of Hinduism only. This feature of caste division is a feature of Hinduism. So this reservation was given to Hindus only. Over time, government thought that a lot of people converted to other religion, so let's include them also. It was thought recently Christianity was tried, and there was an issue we discussed in, I think, 2 weeks back, I believe. In Saturday current event, we discussed this. So that's one aspect, but we are discussing EWS particularly here. So what happened here is, these are SCs. Everyone remember, SC is a constitutional term. SC is a constitutional term. The other term for SCs are, anyone? We have discussed multiple times, I believe. The term for SCs. Yes, Dalits, Harijan. Yes, exactly. One is Dalits. Dalits is a revolutionary term. Means these are a term used by the people who want to assert their identity, to achieve parity. Another is Harijan. It's a term preferred by Gandhiji. Gandhiji said that you are not basically the deprived people of the caste. You are Harijan, people who are to be uplifted. This is a term preferred by Gandhiji. This is the term Dalit. It's a revolutionary term preferred by the scholars in Dalit. SC is a constitutional term coined by Britishers. It's a term coined by Britishers. Okay. Up till here is clear, everyone. So SC and ST. So this is what we had. So I hope the caste system is very much understood to everyone. इससे ज़्यादा डिटेल में जरूरत भी नहीं है. So we just understood that the untouchables, they were excluded from the caste system. They were excluded from the Varna system. That's why this statement was made by Ambedkar. Ambedkar said those who are socially segregated means separated from the main society. As we saw, untouchables were separated from the Varna system. So he said those who are socially segregated must stay politically segregated. It basically saying is they must have their separate future, kind of separate country kind of thing. They must have their separate future. The way, when India was fighting for its independence, not only Indian National Congress and the people associated with it, Nehru, Patel, and all these people, they were trying to have a unified India, Gandhi included. Other people, Muslim League was trying to have a Muslim Pakistan. The Dalit people were trying to have a separate status. They may not be trying for a separate nation, but they were trying for a separate status away from the other people. They did not want to be the part of these people. Similarly, there were other people who were demanding everything. We should have this. This is the problem that Britishers exploit every time. Whenever we said to the Britishers, give us freedom, they said to whom? We said, give us freedom. They said to whom? Whom you want to be freedom from? You want freedom from us, but to whom? To Hindus, to Christians, to Muslims, to Brahmins, whom we shall hand over this rule. So they always exploited this principle. So up till here is understood. So what Britishers played, the thing they always do, divide and rule, divide the people and rule them basically. So what happened is there is something called as communal award. It was an award or it was an agreement between it was given by the Britishers, signed by Ambedkar. Under this award, they gave an idea of separate electorate. They gave separate electorate to the Dalits. What is separate electorate? One thing is joint. Yes, Gandhi opposed. One thing is joint electorate. Joint electorate means in one constituency you have one MP/MLA. Exactly, Afifa. You have one MP or one MLA in one constituency, and everyone votes. For example, in one constituency there are Dalits, there are Muslims, there are Christians. All will vote for one person. That person could be MP, MLA of any religion, any caste, whatever may be the case. Even for reserved constituency. For example, this constituency is reserved for SC. So the everyone, whether you are a Hindu, Muslim, Brahmin, whatever may be the case, all will vote for SC MP or SC MLA because the reserved constituency, the SC can fight only. but they will vote for one. This is called a joint electorate or common electorate. So as soon as this is separate electorate. Separate electorate means that SC people will vote for their MP or MLA. The remaining, for example, Brahmin, Kshatriya, and Vaishya, they will vote for their MP. Muslim will vote for their MP. So this is called separate electorate. Everyone will vote for their representative. As soon as Gandhi came to know that Ambedkar has signed this kind of agreement with the Britishers, giving separate electorate to the Dalit, he became very furious, and he took fast into death. He said, "Over my dead body. You really want separate electorate? You can have it, but over my dead body." What was the argument? The basic argument he propounded is, for example, a Muslim is different. He said, a Muslim will be a Muslim, a Christian will be a Christian. But if you separate Dalits from Hinduism, then they will never be integrated. He said, okay, I agree that of course there is some discrimination with the Dalit people. I agree, no doubt over that. But we have to reform Hinduism. It is like you have a family. In a family, if some kid has some problem with the head of the family, or father or mother, whatever may be the case, so it is not like that person will go away from the house. It's our internal matter. If we consider Hinduism is a family, so we have different people, and it's our internal matter. We will reform it over time. But to say that this person shall be excluded from the family, it will never allow that person to again become the part of the family. So he took fast into that. Ultimately, a pact was signed that is called Pune Pact between two people, that is Ambedkar and Gandhi. Under this pact, it was agreed. That we will not have a separate electorate. We will have joint electorate. Means everyone will be on the same electoral roll. However, there will be reservation. Remember this thing. At this point, Pune Pact is only about SCs and STs. Nobody else. Pune Pact was about SCs particularly. ST can also be included, but nobody else. So they said, okay, you can have reservation, that to temporary. Temporary means 10 or 20 years, whatever may be found feasible. That for 10 or 20 years or 30 years, if you want, we can have a reservation. It will not continue forever. It will be temporary. But it will be only for the people who have been deprived so far. The criteria of deprivation is deprived so far. That is social and educational. So this was the starting philosophy of reservation in India. That reservation will be given, but only on social and economic backwardness, not on any other criteria. So this reservation was availed by only SCs and STs. STs are socially excluded and SCs both socially and educationally excluded. These people had reservations since the beginning of Constitution in 1950. यहाँ तक सबको clear? Everyone clear? Any doubt? Okay then. So what happened after this is, so remember this everyone, the original foundation of constitutional philosophy of reservation is SCN, ST, and that too educational and social backwardness. It does not have any criteria like economic backwardness. So this continued for some time, a long time. This reservation philosophy continued. Let me take to the blank page. For a long time, this philosophy continued since 1950. It continued till around 1990s. Here, a new reservation was introduced, OBC. It was based on the commission's report by the name of Mandal Commission. Mandal Commission was appointed in 1979. This commission gave the idea that there are certain castes. There are certain castes which may not be SCs, but they are equally deprived. The caste which are not SCs means they were not excluded from the society, but they are equally deprived on the basis of caste. So it suggested that there should be a reservation for OBCs or other backward castes. These are the people who are not SCs or STs, but deprived. But remember this, these are the people who, आप इसे ऐसे समझिए, if I put Brahmin, Kshatriya, Vaishya at the top, then you can say OBC comes in between and below this comes the SCs and STs. This is how you can classify India. The top tier you have, that is we are coming at Sushmita. Okay, top here in between you have OBCs. Between means these people had some benefits of the upper caste, means they had some wealth. They were also accepted in the some societies. Also, they were part of the normal culture. Also, some caste, not all caste in OBC. Some caste were very much integrated in the society. Other caste were completely excluded. So few people in OBC just like were like top people, and a lot of people in OBC just like SC/ST. So that keeping that in mind, Mandal Commission suggested give them reservation because they are may not be as deprived as the SCs, but they are also deprived. ठीक है यहाँ तक clear है what change came with Mandal Commission. Okay, so it continued ultimately in 1989. A government comes into power by the name of VP Singh. VP Singh gives the reservation. VP Singh instituted the OBC reservation. VP Singh. After this comes Narasimha Rao. These all are prime ministers of India. Narasimha Rao became the prime minister. He instituted a reservation of EWS, that is 10%. Sorry, 10%. This is what happened. Or this phase from you can say from 1979 to 1989. This phase is also known as the phase of Mandal Kamandal. This phase is also known as the phase of Mandal Kamandal politics. Why? Because on one hand, you had this Mandal Commission talking about the caste-based division. On the other hand, you have BJP, RSS, who were trying to go for something called as Rath Yatra. That's two sides were fighting with each other in the politics. And remember one thing, everything is politics. If you think that you can claim something, you're very wrong. Everything is politics. Every place you go, for example, even your family politics runs. Everywhere politics is a part. A bit sidetrack, but we will understand. For example, I always take this example: women. Why they are not empowered even today? If you look at them around the world, they are deprived. They are discriminated. Why? Because they have no woman political party. That's the biggest reason. ये patriarchal mindset तो है अंबर, but you have no party fighting for the woman itself. For example, you have woman morcha, you have woman sect of BJP Congress. Imagine this: the current minister, the current woman and child development minister is Smriti Irani. She is from BJP. When any rape or something happened in Congress state, she cries aloud. But when anything happens in BJP state, she stays mum. Why? If she's a woman, then she should think about all the women, be it in BJP or Congress. Why she stay mums in BJP? Because she is bound by politics of the party. She cannot say anything beyond the party politics. Same applies to Congress. Congress cries aloud. For example, Congress may you have this Rahul Gandhi ki sister ka naam kya hai? Priyanka Vadra. Yes. This person, Priyanka Vadra, she cries aloud whenever there is a rape or something in BJP state. But she stays mum when there is in Congress. If you're a woman, then you should be concerned for all women. Why only for the BJP state or Congress state? The reason is there is no particular party for women only. So why I'm driving this point, it will come later also in the Supreme Court asserted on this point. The reason is the criteria that deprives you is the criteria that can empower you. If you have been deprived on the basis of caste, only caste can empower you. If you have been deprived on the basis of gender, then only gender can empower you. But for that, you have to make that a political issue. Personal issues are kuch nahi hota. You have to make it a political party. You have to fight election only for them. Then only there will be empowerment. This much is clear? Up till here, everyone. Yeah. There were two things happening in this 1979 to 1989. On the one hand, you had this caste politics. That is Mandal. Mandal represent caste politics. It was trying to divide Hinduism. The politics behind this Mandal Commission was dividing Hinduism or Hindu as a vote bank. If I consider all Hindu as one vote, so dividing Hindu among caste parties, because some parties survive on caste politics. There are a lot of parties like BSP who survive only on caste politics. And as caste politics is coming down in India, that's why BSP is unable to find any seat. BSP is a party in UP. So the thing is, by mandal, there was aim to divide Hinduism in caste, so that caste politics can be strengthened. Versus, you have a politics of religion. BJP was trying to unify all castes. That is the Kamandal part, the Rath Yatra. It was BJP was trying to use Ram and this Ram Mandir issue and Babri Mosque issue to unify all the Hindus together in a religion as a single vote bank. That BJP even today tries. It tries to bring all Hindus together. Other parties try to divide Hindu in caste so that the BJP is not powerful. Clear this Mandal Kamandal politics and this reservation was the outcome of Mandal Kamandal politics. SC/ST reservation was historically present, but OBC was a negotiation of Mandal Kamandal. Clear, everyone? Okay. So now what happened? At this point of juncture, again, I am not going in deep details. That is not feasible for this class. Okay, so your polity teacher can go in every nuance detail. We are just having a summary of so that you can understand current judgment. So up till this happened, so for the first time in Indira Sahni case, this went to Supreme Court. In Indira Sahni case, this went to EWS wala and OBC. This went to Supreme Court. Supreme Court gave few points. First, there is upper ceiling, that is the maximum reservation can be 50% only. Why? It considered like this. If you have this line, it is the starting line, this is the end line. It is a race, for example. A general candidate is here, OBC is here, SC is here, ST is here. And this is the final line. This is for everyone. This line is equal for everyone, but this is a starting line. The general candidate is standing on the starting line. OBC has a bit advantage, SC more and ST more. This is called affirmative action. Means giving advantage to the people who are historically deprived. But if I take this general person from here and I take general person from here and put him here, that is, I rather than giving him the start line, I have taken him backward. This is called as reverse discrimination. This is called reverse discrimination. The Supreme Court. So this is called reverse discrimination. That's why Supreme Court said you can have reservation, but it cannot breach 50%. First point. Second point, Supreme Court instituted the criteria of creamy layer. Creamy layer, I just told you in the Varna system that OBCs, a lot of caste in OBCs were like top caste. They were zamindars also. In some state, the OBCs, various caste of OBC was zamindar even. And a lot of caste were like SCs. So to exclude the caste who have historically been very powerful and even today who have sufficient wealth, economic vagera. So for that, Supreme Court instituted a criteria of creamy layer. The people who have wealth above certain level in OBCs will not avail caste reservation. Okay? Okay. So two things we understood. First, upper limit is 50. Second, creamy layer. Third thing we understood is Supreme Court denied economic criteria. Means Supreme Court annulled this EWS reservation. Supreme Court said that there will always be poor in the society. And if there will always be poor in the society, then reservation will never end. And if you remember, starting with what we discussed in Pune Pact, that reservation will be there, but it's a temporary measure. And Ambedkar himself said that reservation is a temporary measure. It will end one day. It has to end, basically, logically. The clear, this is the philosophy we had up till here. So OBC reservation, can I say, economic criteria as a caste, that is what OBC may, but they did is they linked these two criteria. OBC, remember, OBC is caste based deprivation plus economic criteria. Supreme Court EWS को annul करते said that exclusive economic criteria cannot be there. However, caste combining with economic criteria, as you find in OBC reservation. आप में से कोई है OBC का सर्टिफिकेट किसी के पास है? Anyone? Okay, delay per FIFA, I believe. So I believe you all know that if you have income more than 8 lakh rupee per annum, then you cannot avail OBC reservation. को पता है ना ये बात? This is the upper limit for OBC reservation for now. So you have a caste which is deprived, but as well as you have economic criteria. Exclusive economic criteria cannot be there. So what is the change after Indira Sahni judgment? We started the philosophy of reservation from social and educational backwardness. Then we move to the point where along with social and educational, economy can be a criteria, but additional, exclusive nahi ho sakta. It can be an additional criteria, the way OBC has, caste plus economy, while EWS was exclusive economic. The Supreme Court annulled this. So, is that clear, everyone? Then we will come to our news. What is the news? So this was the background in which we have to understand this news. Okay. So what happened? It continues. So we can say from 1989 till 2000, I think 19, yes. Till 2019, the only philosophy we had, the reason for reservation, the criteria for reservation can be caste plus economy. And in caste signifies socio-economic backwardness. Sorry, socio-educational backwardness. So three criteria we have: social, educational, economic, but clubbed together. Economy as an additional criteria. In 2019, Modi government introduced EWS reservation again. It was done once upon a time by Narasimha Rao. We discussed 10% reservation, which was annulled by Supreme Court. Again, Modi government brought this reservation of EWS, giving in 2019 10% reservation exclusively based on economic criteria. The criteria is 8 lakh rupees per annum. Catch here is, so yahan tak what happened is, now you have another issue that Supreme Court Indira Sahni case में settled that economy exclusively cannot be a criteria, but EWS reservation is based on economy only. But at this point we have to stop and understand one thing. I always say one thing: morality changes over time. Morality, something you consider sin today may not consider tomorrow. For example, मान लेते हैं, for example, a girl smoking in public, even in India's village today, it is considered very bad. But in urban areas, especially in Delhi, I see it is not a big deal. Every corner, especially near coaching, so you will find girls smoking. Not a big deal. It's okay. So what has changed in urban Delhi, the metropolis Delhi? The morality is different. But same thing, even for example, even a girl is without घूंघट तो बड़ी बात हो जाती है in rural areas. It's a big thing. Let alone smoking. That's a even severe thing. So morality changes over time. Keep this in backdrop, then you will understand the news. So what has happened? Supreme Court. This judgment was challenged to the Supreme Court in Janhit Abhiyan versus Union of India case. In this case, Supreme Court has upheld the amendment by a 3-2 majority. Means it is not a unanimous judgment. And Indira Sahni judgment was a 9-judge bench. Remember this, everyone. It was a 9-judge bench. Now you have to tell me first. Everyone understand this word bench? Sabko samajh mein aata na? What do we mean by bench? Anyone who does not understand bench word? ठीक है, सबको समझ आता है. So it was given by a 5-judge bench and with a majority of 3. Means even if one person had given negative opinion, then the judgment, then EWS reservation would have been abolished. But whether good or bad, that's a different thing to evaluate. So it has been upheld in Janhit Abhiyan versus Union of India case. अब side effect देखते हैं. पहले let's look at side effect. This judgment I think came 3 or 4 days back. And yesterday the Jharkhand government has increased the reservation to 77%. And Chhattisgarh has recently increased reservation to 58%. And now, what is the problem? Why I'm saying it's the Pandora's box. Now there is no limit to reservation. Of course, yes. A judge can abstain, of course, judge. But नहीं, अब Tamil Nadu का केस अलग है. Tamil Nadu had 69% reservation since the beginning. Means when OBC came, na, so it had from since beginning, because Tamil Nadu has claimed that it has majority of its people, 80% something, are OBCs. So Tamil Nadu was an exception. It always had 69% reservation. Beyond that, no state in India had more than 50 reservation. Whenever they tried, it's a big issue now. Why I'm giving so much time to this news? It's a very foundational issue. It changes everything. We will come to that in the news. I will just give you a second. So 50% reservation was a line. So what we are seeing today, what happens? Usually there was a tendency among the lower caste to appear like a upper caste. A lot of lower caste people keep upper caste surname. It's a tendency. What they do is they take reservation, but they change their name. For example, I know one person, he took admission. So that person basically has a name X something, and he had Gupta with him. Gupta are basically upper caste. Okay? So X, his name I don't recollect, but he had a surname Gupta. So the person, he was availing OBC reservation. So when he went to the counseling, the counselor asked, "Ye kya scene hai? You are in Gupta, then how come you are a OBC?" So that person said, "Sir, this is my first name. His surname was empty." Means there was no surname. So to avail OBC reservation, but to move away from the discrimination, because if you think there's a tendency among people, when you will be joining the services, now you will find this, that when you go join the service, if you are from reserve category, you will not be seen with the same eyes. You may be equally competent. But there's a psyche of the people, just because you came with a low cutoff, so they think that you're less competent, and a lot of discrimination happens. Aisa nahi hai. Let me give you an example. I think out of 89 secretaries, example, understand this is an example how discrimination works, even after reservation. 89 secretaries, you all understand secretary, it is the highest boss of a ministry. So out of 89 secretaries in Modi government, who by the way claims to be OBC, Modi claims himself to be OBC, that's a disputed, but he claims that person there is zero OBC in his cabinet, zero OBC in his, all the ministry. Out of 89 secretaries, there is zero OBC. And I think there are 2 ST and 1 SC. Out of 89, only 3 people are from reserve category, everyone else is from upper category, unreserved categories. So I want to say, these people are not talented, they cannot become the secretaries. So there is something called as stereotyping. For example, you have to lift something. You're in a house. Let alone forget about government. Think about yourself. If you are in a house and you have to lift, for example, a cylinder has come. You have to lift that from the ground to the first floor. So your mother calls to whom? You, rather than your sister. Because a natural psyche plays, because of physical work, you are more suitable. Maybe your sister may do better than you, but because natural psyche plays, that you are more suitable. सबको समझ में आ रहा? Sometimes we do discrimination not actively but passively. Is it clear, everyone? Up till here? Okay. So now what is the issue? This 50% limit was protecting one thing. They were ensuring that upper caste does not evade. It's an issue. UPSC has asked a question on this. Means this wala means they ask a question about upper caste reservation. What we are seeing, for example, Jat in Haryana, your Patidar and Patels in Gujarat, and Maratha in Maharashtra. What these people are doing? They are the most dominant caste in their state, most dominant, politically powerful, economically powerful. Every way they are powerful caste, and they are asking for reservation. They say, please give us reservation. To the extent that the state government of Maharashtra gave reservation to Maratha, and it went to around 85%. The reservation in Maharashtra went to 85%. Supreme Court annulled Maratha reservation. Why? Because 50% is the upper limit. So the Indra Sahni judgment was protecting reservation from moving away from 50%. But now this judgment has opened the Pandora's box. So that's why, impact within 3 to 4 days of judgment, Jharkhand government increased reservation to 77, and it's a starting point. Abhi देखिए reservation कितना बढ़ता है. तो वो clear हो ना? Why I'm saying it's the Pandora's box. Again, we are not going whether the reservation extension is justified or not. We are going that there is no limit to reservation. Why there is no limit? Then you will understand in here. Okay. Now a lot of questions you were asking will be answered here. Janit Abhiyan case, a petition was filed by judicial review is always there, always. For example, this Jharkhand wala, I don't think is tenable. It will be challenged in Supreme Court, and again, it's up to Supreme Court what happens. We all know, na, Supreme Court, I told you, judiciary how it functions. The ultimate interpreter of Constitution is Supreme Court. So if Constitution में it is written no, and Supreme Court says इसका मतलब yes होता है. If the Supreme Court says the no written in Constitution means yes, then for the entire country it means yes, even if it is written no in the Constitution. The Supreme Court can interpret anything. Clear? Abhay, judicial review will always apply. But the thing is, now there is no limitation. Why? You will understand in a bit. तो यहाँ तक everyone clear? Please tell me this. सबको clear है? कोई doubt यहाँ तक? Please ask. Then I will move ahead. राम जनरल के लिए 40 भी नहीं बचा है. I will tell you why. जनरल के लिए इसमें न्यूज में will come. General basically there is nothing called as general category. It is called as unreserved. It is not a category. It's open to everyone. So for unreserved, now even 40% is not remaining. I think it is around 35%, not 40%. I will tell you why. यहाँ तक तो सबको clear है? ठीक है, everyone is clear. Now let's move. देखिए what happened in Janit Abhiyan case. The petitioner gave some argument. Number one argument. Again, why I am giving so much time to this news? It's very important. Please cover this. This news, this case changes the philosophy of the Constitution completely. Criticism पे अभी करते हैं. अभी will do that. Criticism we will also. देखिए, petitioner gave some argument in the court. First argument they gave was reservation cannot be based solely on economic criteria. The petitioner said, sir, you yourself in Indra Sahni case has said that there is a 50% ceiling. Then this economic reservation is above 50%. Already there is OBC, SC and ST in 50%. Now this EWS reservation, take reservation to 60%, breaches the 50% line. So it is unconstitutional. First point they made. Second point the petitioner made was that, sir, you are excluding, this reservation is excluding SC, ST and OBCs because they are not part of EWS. If अच्छा कोई भी आप में से EWS है, some any of you have the EWS certificate? कोई भी नहीं है. कमाल है. सारे अमीर परिवार से आते हो. ओके कूल. नहीं है तो मैं बता देता हूँ. Okay, what is the thing? When you go for EWS certificate, na, in the form that you file for EWS certificate, there is a column which says you have to affirm. You write there that I do not belong to any of the caste covered in SC, ST, and OBC. In the form, you have to write this that I am not covered under any caste of SC, ST, and OBC, and my family income is less than 8 lakh rupee per annum. So please give me EWS certificate. Then only you get EWS. Clear? Okay. So this question was raised by this petitioner, sir, why SC, ST and OBCs are excluded from economic reservation? Isn't it a denial of right to equality? Second point. Third point they raise is you are giving reservation even in private institutes. Educationally private hai yahan pe. The private word is missing. You are giving reservation even in private education institution, even those which do not receive any fund from the states. देखिए institutions are of two types. One is government, other is private. Within private there are two types. One is who take money from the government, and those who take money from the government, they are regulated by government as the way they like. Other who do not take money from the government, okay, they do not take money from the government. There are two types. So in the institution that which do not take money from the government cannot put any burden on them. Government cannot issue regulations, cannot control how they conduct their business. यहाँ तक clear है सबको that the three demand raised by the petitioner? अब आते हैं थी डिमांड एंड फोर्थ डिमांड दैट वाज एडेड, यू कैन सी 50% वाला है. चलो लेट्स लुक Supreme Court. But Supreme Court has said in its judgment. Supreme Court first upheld it by amendment by 3/2 majority. First thing. First argument was that you are giving reservation on the basis of economy. This point is the most important. How? Supreme Court has said that in Keshwanand Bharti case, I said this, that welfare state is the main objective of the constitution. Welfare state means a state which work for the people. The same argument, for example, allowing giving you food, PDS, the ration, giving you ration if you cannot afford, giving women money if they cannot afford, providing old age security. All these are done by the government because government are not supposed to be profit making bodies. This is the problem, that a lot of people think that government are supposed to make profit. No, that's the difference between government and private. Private cannot run in losses. If I lead a factory, I will run a factory as long as I get the money, I get the profit. Otherwise, I will close it down. There's no point. Government can always run in losses, and actually, government are supposed to run in losses. Government is supposed to run a railway even if it is in loss, because railway will take people from one place to another, and some moral responsibility of the government to ensure that just because you are a poor person cannot afford heavy train fare, so you're not allowed to travel. So that's the biggest criticism against privatization. The wholesale privatization this government is doing, everything is being sold. Railways, public sector banks, and everything is being sold. That's the main criticism, that these private agencies that will capture these institutions will not work the way government works. Yes, someone neoliberal government. यहाँ तक बताइए, फर्स्ट पॉइंट थोड़ा क्लियर हुआ. that केशवानंद भारती केस में सुप्रीम कोर्ट said that welfare is the most important part of the constitution. So there cannot be any limitation on deprivation criteria. Matlab, Supreme Court has said in this judgment that there is no limitation on deprivation criteria, meaning you have OBC, SC, ST, and EWS reservation, totaling to 60% around for now. If tomorrow, for example, state thinks that this LGBT people and prostitute, because they are legalized, so they are deprived section of the society, let's give them 10% also. So as per this point, it is tenable. So reservation will go to 70% and it will be constitutionally valid. Now you are getting everyone. What do we mean by this limitation on deprivation criteria? Now there is no limitation, of course, for both. All reservation politics is for both. Why? Let me give you an example. What is happening around the country? I give you myself my own example. My father was selected easily. How? He went for a job to become engineer. He was an engineer. Went to JE job, junior engineer. This is starting position for an engineer. He was the only person for the interview. When you are the only person for the interview, of course you will get the job. Get the point? For example, in your exam in UPSC have prelims, then mains, and then interview. Why they have prelims? When prelims marks are not counted in the mains, why they have prelims? It is for screening the people. Yes, competition. Why? Because vacancies have reduced and people applying has increased. Every year around 10 lakh people apply for civil services for around 700 jobs, 7 to 800, it varies. And why the jobs are reducing? During Congress time in 2014, there were around 1200 jobs. Yes, 2014. 1200 jobs, IAS I'm talking about, the UPSC exam. Now it is not more than 700 to 800. This year it has increased because of the backlog. Otherwise 700, 800 is the new. Mechanization is one reason. Yes, bilkul sahi. Another reason we have, because government is sealing everything. At that point of time when my father got the job, that point of time there were so many public companies. Everywhere there was government. Now everywhere there is privatized. For example, MTNL, BSNL used to be a proper telecom company. Now MTNL is almost ended. Everyone is only 3 private company runs: Jio, Airtel, and Voda Idea. Similarly, banks may. So you're getting my point. When you privatize, government jobs go away, and we have a psyche that government job means better job, classical job, job security, this and that extra. So that's the reason that we have a psyche of government job, but government jobs are reducing every day because of privatization and all, and also because of mechanization, because we are shifting to technology. I give an example. In a bank, before the Modi government, there used to be around 70,000 vacancies for clerk and around 5 to 6,000 vacancies for PO. PO are probationary officer who becomes assistant manager. Now, after Modi government, these vacancies are reduced to around 10,000 or something for clerk and around 2,000 something for PO. Why this reduction? Because machines have come, because of digital India. You see, nothing happens in isolation. Everything is very linked with each other. Because of digital India, now how many of you people have to go to bank? You do not have to go to bank. Do Paytm, do Google Pay. You can do. There is apps for every bank has app. You can in app. For example, I think पता नहीं कब मैंने visit किया था. For I think more than a year I have not visited my bank because I get my salary there. I take out the salary by ATM card or by my digital payment, so I do not have to visit a bank. For 1 year, more than 1 year, I have not visited a bank ever. Everything is available online. You can go to the portal, log in and get everything. So imagine this, if I go to bank, they have to appoint a clerk, they have to appoint a banker. But if I do not go to bank, then they are not required to have a clerk and banker. And that's why 70,000 have come to 10,000, 5 to 6,000 have come to 2,000. We are getting because of digitalization and privatization. The vacancies in government is sharply reducing. But at the same time, people who have a psyche of government job are increasing. Because of this, you have less number of job and too much of competition. इसलिए तो कट ऑफ ज्यादा जाती है. Look at the cut off of UPSC before 2014, before Modi governments. हाँ, layoff is a problem in private. Yes, layoff is also a problem. Yes, बिल्कुल सही. Before 2014 for UPSC, for example, the cutoff was very low. I've seen people, in front of the people who qualified today, they were nothing and they became IAS. Layoff means when a private company, for example, goes bankrupt or decide to cut off the staff. You have 100 people, you decide my work is not working, I have to leave, or I have to give retirement, or I have to resign, terminate half of the people. That is called layoff. Firing. Thank you, Dilip. मुझे word याद नहीं आ रहा था. हाँ, Twitter, Baiju, all are example. But देखिए, that's a different reason. Layoff फिर economy में चले जाएंगे. We will go, move to economy. That's a different reason. The reason is economy. Economy I am not covering for you today. If I would be, I will tell you why these layoffs are happening. चलो उस पे भी कभी कर लेंगे. Proper news. It's different. It is nothing to do with what we are studying right now. यहाँ तक सबको clear है that because of privatization and digital India, vacancies are reducing sharply and people applying are increasing. And that's why the question that was asked in UPSC this year about upper caste demanding reservation is here. That when you have limited vacancy, then you will ask reservation. Imagine if all the upper caste people get the job easily. By preparing a bit hard, you become an IAS officer. You won't care about reservation. But when you are unable, in spite of working so hard, you're unable to get reservation. You are unable to become an IAS. But your father became an IAS. He will be like, "Kitna nalayak hai tu?" He will be like, "Kitna nalayak hai tu? I became an IAS. You are unable to become an IAS. I became an IAS in first attempt." Then you have to say to your father, "Papa, you were in the time when there was no competition. There were around 40 to 50,000 people used to apply for IAS service at that point of time. Now it is more than 10 lakh. So, Papa, मुझे बताओ मत." The things have changed. Competition is increased a lot, ना. हाँ, पापा कहेंगे उस टाइम पे टेक नहीं था, तो आप बोलेंगे पापा जी ऐसा है ना, उसका फायदा था अब है. Because of technology, why the 10 lakh people are applying? Because now if UPSC release notification, there are so many Twitter channels, आपका YouTube, they take that notification of UPSC even to the remotest of the villages. पहले ये नहीं था. पहले क्या था, जिनको पता लग गया उन्हें मिल गया. For example, I took my father's example, ना. He came for a job. He was the only person for the job. Can you imagine? Other people were not looking for the job. They were, but they were unable to know कि in Delhi there is a vacancy for JEE. बात समझ में आई? तो उसके फायदे भी नुकसान भी. So anyway, clear है? We have discussed a lot of things. First thing is clear. Now there is no limitation on deprivation. You could be economically deprived, caste-based deprived, religion-based deprived. For example, this social deprived is LGBT and the prostitute I talked about. So this is a Pandora's box. We have no idea now how long the reservation can go and on what criteria reservation can be given. Clear everyone? अभी तो शुरुआत है. It's a Pandora's box. There will be so many petitions every day in Supreme Court now. This judgment is very troubling. I believe Supreme Court could have upheld the judgment without giving this criteria of unlimited deprivation. मेंस में ना आए तो इंटरव्यू में पक्का आएगा. यूपीएससी में this is very foundational. It has changed the philosophy. इंटरव्यू में पक्का पूछा जाएगा, इसमें हो ही नहीं सकता. नेक्स्ट पॉइंट. So first thing we understood, now there is no deprivation because initially we understood social and educational backwardness was the criteria. Then economy as an added criteria was added during OBC reservation. Now there is no limitation on deprivation criteria. There could be any deprivation criteria. ठीक है. Second thing. But again देखिए इसमें just तो होना ही चाहिए. ये तो this is something you have to have. इस ऐसा नहीं है you can give reservation to anyone. If you have just criteria, then of course reservation can be given. Oh, Dilip, the thing is now because LGBTQ is not a vote bank. LGBTQ is a very small part and they are not a vote bank. SC, ST, OBC is a big part, 80% of India's population, and they are a vote bank. So netas ko dekhiye, netas ko there is one thing you need to remember. Netas ko nothing troubles netas except vote. Imagine this: Pradhan Mantri Modi brought farm laws. No, farm laws. Mein he brought farm laws by a master stroke. All the media said it's a master stroke by Modi ji. Then farmer protested, and when Modi government felt we will lose BJP, we will lose in UP, and UP is known as the gateway to central government. So they withdrew the farm laws. They did not withdraw the farm laws for farmers. They withdrew the farm laws for the UP election. So Neta may understand or may not understand anything, but they understand the power of vote, and they for vote they can ban in any way. चलिए वो तो एक अलग बात है. ठीक है, क्लियर हो गया. नेक्स्ट पॉइंट पे बात करते हैं. Next point we discussed. Petitioner argued about the next thing is, sir, why you have excluded SC, ST and OBC? For that, Supreme Court has said these people already have a reservation. They said that these people already have a reservation, so they do not deserve a reservation. You already have, why you want more? That was the second argument. So OBC, ST, ST are not covered. Next point we discuss is why reservation in private institution. On that, Supreme Court said a very beautiful thing. I think this point is very good. First point is troubling. Second point is okay. Third point is good. The point Supreme Court said is that to uplift the people. To uplift the people is everybody's responsibility. Basic argument is this. To uplift the people, it is the responsibility of everyone, not only the government. As a private corporation, you know, all these education institutions, they are made on subsidized land. They get land dirt cheap. इतने में तो आपको घर नहीं मिलेगा. जितने में उनको acres of land they get for the price, you will get a flat in Delhi. They get that much. They pay only that much price for the land. Why? Because government thinks they will build education institution. It will increase education in the society, so we can give you subsidized land. Somebody raised the hand. Yes. Any question to anyone? Okay then. Okay. So this point was good. The Supreme Court said that we have already justified. There were two cases it took reference to: Parmati Education, Ashok Kumar Thakur. Again, all these cases are not important. If you remember this, fine. If you don't, doesn't matter. Remember the current EWS case. ठीक है, मैं भी खुद भूल क्या नाम था इसका. Janit Abhiyan. Remember this name. Yes, Janit Abhiyan. अब लास्ट पॉइंट पे आते हैं 50% सीलिंग. द फोर्थ इशू रेज्ड बाय द पिटीशन वाज दैट यू आर ब्रीचिंग 50% सीलिंग. अब द थिंग सुप्रीम कोर्ट सेड, देखिए, द पार्लियामेंट find necessary, if the parliament find necessary for another affirmative action. Keep this word another means if SC, ST, OBC, EWS, these people are already having reservation, so they cannot avail more reservation. That is it. They cannot avail more reservation. But if parliament thinks that there is a need for other affirmative action, that they can always provide that. I give you an example. For example, if they decide LGBTQ shall be given a reservation of 5%, they can. They decide that the prostitutes and this women engaged in this profession and their kids and all, they should get 5% reservation. They can, because these are added criteria. These are another affirmative action. These people already have this. So clear what is another affirmative action means? So with this, always remember that 50% ceiling is still applicable. 50% ceiling is still applicable, but only to the existing classes under Article 15.4, 15.5 and 16.4. These articles your polity teacher will teach you. Basically, आप समझ रहे हैं? So let me summarize this news, then I will come to the scholars analysis. Of course it can. Why not? Because gender is a criteria. You can say women have been deprived gender basis. Of course, they have been. I told you, no, I think women representation in parliament is around 12%. And it is the highest for now. It has always been less. So, बिल्कुल दे सकते हैं. Okay. So, let me summarize the news. So, what is the summary of this new, I would say, philosophy changing news? First, now there is nothing called as 50% limit. Second, the existing people, that is OBC, SC, ST, and EWS. These people cannot avail further reservation. They have the limit. Another thing, the state can provide reservation to any new category. Okay, this is the submission, basic submission. Sabko clear hai? Everyone clear on the news? That's why I'm saying it's a Pandora's box. अभी तो देखिए क्या क्या होना बाकी है. Just watch the game because it has just started very troubling. बिल्कुल समय बताएगा. It has starting very troubling precedents. Now because now new categories can be added. Now state can give reservation to anyone. अब ठीक है, देखते क्या होता है. अभी तो शुरुआत है कहानी की. अभी तो बहुत लंबी कहानी जाएगी. Anything, yes, Daman. Anything criteria. There could be any criteria, but it should be just. ऐसा नहीं कि you can give reservation to netas londas. You will say, for example, Rahul Gandhi is unable to become PM, let him have a reservation in IAS. ऐसा नहीं चलेगा. ठीक है? Justice Chandrachud has taken the charge, but this judgment is not Justice Chandrachud benches. It's the current ULL, I believe. Yes, fair होना चाहिए, of course. It has to be fair and just. आप कुछ भी थोड़ा ना कर सकते हो. Other, if you will give reservation to anyone, the Supreme Court will annul it. But that's why I give you the idea of this LGBT and the women engaged in prostitution, because they are literally deprived. If they are given reservation, I don't think Supreme Court will annul it. Nobody will annul it, let alone Supreme Court. But then the problem that comes is for unreserved categories. Now they have even lesser and lesser space. अब वो criteria तो देखिए, that's a different debate. The reservation shall be limited to generation because right now only SC and ST can avail reservation life after life, or shall I say generation after generation. There is no limitation here. OBC में है. For example, if you become an IAS officer or IPS, whatever, surely your annual income will go above 8 lakh. So your kids will never be able to avail OBC reservation. So OBC में does not work, EWS में does not work, SC ST में it works. SC ST में even if you become Ambani, even then you can avail SC ST reservation. तो उसमें देखते हैं creamy layer आनी चाहिए. Whenever it will come, we will see that. इसमें होता है, I would not name that person, but there is a particular woman, she became IS, that was a very controversial. She became IS, that was very controversial because she availed SC reservation. But the problem with her was her father and mother both availed SC reservation, and they became IES officer, Engineering Services officer. both availed reservation, become IAS, and she got best of education. Of course, your father and mother are IAS. Of course, they provided you best of education. You got the best of education. You were fulfilled by all measures. You were not at all SC and ST by any socioeconomic deprivation. But still, she used the SC reservation to top IAS. तो उसमें बहुत dispute आया था कि such kind of people should not be allowed to be. But ठीक है, अब उसमें कुछ नहीं कर सकते. But इसमें the problem was a lot of the thing was a lot of common category people were offended by this. They were very offended by this, that this person has everything in her life. I'm talking about deprivation. And then they felt offended ki why this person is using reservation, it is for the weaker and all. But I was like, why you are feeling the burn? Right? This person has actually cheated her own community. The seat that she took from SC, this seat could be gone to a SC, real SC person who is deprived of all the benefits, who is studying in a village, who is facing every hardship. That person could got this seat that she used. So she has not done anything to general category or OBC or ST. She has basically deprived her own community of one seat. और ऐसे बहुत लोग हैं. She is not the alone one. क्लियर है यहाँ तक सबको? ओबीसी न्यूमरस डायमेंशन टू डिस्कस. अब पूरा दिन इसी में निकल जाएगा हमारा. सब क्लियर है? एवरीवन क्लियर? चलिए, तो वी शैल रैप दिस न्यूज एंड मूव टू द नेक्स्ट न्यूज. देखिए, I took more than 1 hour and 10 minutes for this news because unending debate है, but very important. You have to know this in comprehensive. Very important. ठीक है, चलिए नेक्स्ट आते हैं यूएपीए. It is again, you can say, part polity. This news you can cover in 3 places. That is polity, governance, and internal security. At 3 places this news can be covered. Polity, governance, and internal security. UAPA, that is Unlawful Activities Prevention Act. Why it was in news? Recently, the central government has declared Popular Front of India, PFI, as an unlawful association under all unlawful activities. अच्छा, shall we take a break or continue करूं? All people are good ना? Not exhausted? अब टू नॉट चलो फिर कंटिन्यू करते हैं. लगता है everyone was enjoying है. That's why everyone was saying continue. चलिए. So UAPA, recently central government has declared the Popular Front of India as unlawful association under the Unlawful Activities Prevention Act. This is UAPA. Now, this act is a very, I would say, troublesome. How it's troublesome? On one hand, you have something called as national security. On other hand, you have something called as freedom of speech. There are 2 things here. The debate, philosophical debate that we have to have is national security. Of course, there shall be no compromise with national security. Now, again, there is something called as freedom of speech. For example, if I say something against the government, does the government has the right to imprison me? Or say, for example, I make anti-BJP group. Let's take an example. I make anti-BJP group or anti-Congress group for the sake of balancing. I make an anti-BJP or anti-Congress group. And my purpose is to root BJP out of power because I don't believe its policies are good for me. Or I make a anti-Congress group and my sole purpose is to root Congress out of power. So in that scenario, my freedom of speech to root BJP or Congress out of power, shall it confront national security? Again, it's a very balancing act. You have to balance a lot. Because if you assert national security too much, then freedom of speech will be compromised. And if you assert freedom of speech too much, then national security will be compromised. So what balance you have to maintain. And that balance or that onus lies to whom? The government and the law officers. As IPS or something you will become, that onus lies on you. So that national security is not compromised, but at the same time, a person's right to protest, a person's right to criticize the government is not compromised. Because in past, UAPA has been used for, I would say, less than honorable purpose. ये तो justified है. PFI पे जो ban अभी लगा है, this PFI ban I believe is very justified because the action they were taking was very bad. But PFI was doing, it was going for armed struggle. So ये ban तो I believe is justified. But in past, a lot of people were subjected to UAPA who were just critics. Then government said they had this link, that link, which never worked. They could not prove that in the courts, but for years they kept them in prison only in the UAPA. And clubbing that way, you have NSA, National Security Act, and then sedition. The Supreme Court has stopped. Imagine this: government is using sedition. Sedition means desthrow, and Supreme Court had to stop sedition and say that you are abusing the law. Stop this. So when Supreme Court is saying something, you can imagine what is happening. तो ये बड़ा प्रॉब्लम हो जाता है. You have to balance both, and a lot of time the over enthusiastic policemen who are trying to appease their political masters, they overstep. बहुत बार होता है. ये ठीक है. PFI वाला I believe is very justified. ठीक है, यहाँ तक we have debated. Let's see what happened. What is PFI first? देखिए, PFI, Popular Front of India. PFI is formed after SIMI. SIMI was a out and out terrorist organization. SIMI, Islamic Movement of India, Student Islamic Movement of India, SIMI. No, Daman, we do not have any doctrine which comprehensively define national security. And it's a very abused concept actually. I often teach in PSIR, optional I'm talking about. Security is something very perspective. For example, somebody, take your example. If you have your house, somebody parks his car in front of your house. For some people, it's okay. Yeah, this person does not have a place. He's parking. Anyway, he's parking in the night, not a big issue. But for some person, it's a big issue. It's about their garima, their ego, their popularity. Everything is there. They start fighting with that person. Why are you parking in front of my house? Go park in front of your house. If you do not have a place, why you bought the car? So some people will say, okay, yaar, koi nahi. You do not have a place, you can park outside my house. Anyway, I don't have a car. And you park only in the night. But for some people, it's a matter of prestige. So same event is happening, but for someone it's matter of prestige and lowering his honor. For some other person, it's a common thing. So you're getting my point. National security and national interest is a very dynamic concept. It depends from person to person in power. For a lot of people, even the biggest thing is not a big concern. For some people, they are very sensitive. Even a small criticism of the government is sedition. For some people, even you slang the prime minister openly is not sedition. That person is Manmohan Singh. Manmohan Singh was slanged by so many people. Openly they slanged him in the media. Outrightly, the people I cannot name, they slanged him. And never sedition was imposed on them. ठीक है, अपना अपना होता है. यहाँ तक clear है. The national security versus freedom of speech. It's very subjective. ठीक है. What happened? PFI. PFI was formed after center banned SIMI through the merger of National Democratic Front of Kerala, Karnataka Forum for Dignity, and Mithina Niti something in Tamil Nadu. Again, these names you do not have to remember, not at all important. Just remember that PFI was formed after some so-called terrorist organizations. This was particularly terrorist. It conducted SIMI, is responsible for various terrorist blasts in India. So SIMI was a terrorist organization out and out, no doubt over that. So after these organizations were banned by the center, ended by the center, so PFI was formed, Popular Front of India. And basically how it works for disenchanted and marginalized Muslims. How it works? It tries to instigate, but isme I will blame the government equally. How? Imagine like this. I come to you, I slap you. I come to you, I slap you. Then somebody else will come and tell you, hey, look, that person slapped you. And that person is not powerful in front of you. Come with me. I will make you powerful to fight with that person. Getting my point? The thing is, the Muslim community, especially in India, currently is feeling very marginalized. For example, there is not even a single MP in BJP government that is Muslim. BJP does not give ticket to any Muslim. And there are some arguments against BJP, which I will not repeat. Of course, I love my freedom also. So there are arguments by various scholars. Everyone, Shubham, even if you are a foreigner, if government feels you are working against India, as soon as you enter India, you will be arrested. It is applicable to everyone, even Indian or foreigner. Clear, Shubham? So the problem is PFI. What PFI is doing, it is taking advantage. a lot of Muslims in India feel marginalized. They feel that the current government is anti-Muslim. I'm not saying it is anti-Muslim. I'm saying they feel, because of the feeling is being exploited by these kind of organizations. They're telling them that, look, this government is exploiting you, marginalizing you, killing you, lynching you. So what you have, for example, Citizenship Act, they are telling to them, why Citizenship Act has been brought. It will take away your citizenship. Okay, whether it will or will not is not a question. The question is, if I can make you believe that your friend is your enemy, then you will be my friend. Even if your friend is your real friend. बात समझ रहे हैं? If I can make you believe. So what PFI kind of organizations are doing, they're making this disenchanted and marginalized Muslim believe that the current government is anti-Muslim. And I would say to some extent, you have to blame the current government also. The kind of arguments, the kind of poisonous language has been used by some of the MPs and MLAs of the current government is very poisonous. When you openly say, when you openly says देश के गद्दारों को गोली मारो dash dash dash. When you openly say this in a public meeting, who is this देश के गद्दार, and who gave you the right to give the certificate to somebody as a gaddar? Or this is basically means kill the this basically means kill the enemy of the state. Who is this enemy of the state? How can you call somebody enemy of the state if they are protesting for their legitimate right? So this kind of statement empowers. Always remember, radicalization is a two-way street. If I radicalize Hindu, then Muslim will be radicalized equally and even more because they are in minority. Same applies, for example, in Pakistan. If Pakistan will try to radicalize Muslim, that is a majority in Pakistan, the minority Hindu will radicalize automatically. So, radicalization is always two ways. And in such scenarios, unscrupulous organizations take advantage. One of them is PFI. Clear? So do you think banning PFI will serve the purpose? After the debate we have had, it will not serve the purpose. If no PFI, some other body will come. Because this disenchanted and marginalized Muslim are there now. Okay, I'm not saying you are marginalized them. I'm saying they have a perception. Perception works. Perception pe war ho jati hai, this is nothing. A lot of war you will study in world history are based on perception only, that somebody was their enemy. Perception pe a lot of war have been fought in the world. So you can have a war, for example, Ukraine war le lijiye, don't go far. Take the Ukraine war. Yes, Germans wala chhodiye, Ukraine war lijiye. What is Ukraine war? Because Russia has a perception that if Ukraine join NATO, then NATO forces will be on Russian border. There is not even a single NATO forces was on Russian border when the war was initiated. But because Russia has a perception that it will happen in future, so it is having a war today. So clear, perception is a very powerful tool of politics. Okay, so that is the thing we are seeing here is, and who is suffering? The common people. So यहाँ पे I don't think banning PFI will work for India. What can work for India is we have to work on these Muslims. We have to make sure that they do not feel marginalized. And if your MPs and MLAs and will give this kind of statement that Muslim is one community, Hindu is one community, and you say if you will kill one Hindu, we will kill 100 Muslims. This kind of statement, देखिए छोटा मोटा नेता gives this statement, कोई issue नहीं, because everyone, for example, your uncle on the street, they give a lot of ज्ञान, because they are doing this fine. But when a person in power, when a person on a constitutional position says this, then it is a multiple ramification. Uncle on the street says this, nobody cares. Usko somebody will say radical है, भगाओ यहाँ से. This person is radical, throw him out. Everyone is clear. So this purpose for which government has banned PFI, I don't think it will be served. Today PFI has been banned, some other organization will be made. How many organizations you will ban? The only thing that will serve is work on these people. Work on to ensure that the Muslim does not feel that you are targeting them. And first of all, control your CM and MPs, MLAs. That they should not use poisonous language. And most important, I will say, control this media. 24/7 Hindu-Muslim media. This media is dividing country like nobody else can divide. 24/7 Hindu-Muslim. This media is the biggest danger for India than anyone else. You're getting control this media. And this is something even the government has said. Minister of Telecommunication issued a notification saying that there is too much poisonous language on media. Control this. Imagine The government, which is blamed for the poisonous language, is saying to the media that you are poisonous. Imagine what level of poison they have. Yes, yellow journalism. It is worse than yellow journalism. I don't get it. Where? Someone? Other the debate we are having, of course, it will have. It will have in your ethics paper. When ethics, the questions are framed. For example, the question will be framed. You are SP of a district, and you have a Muslim community coming to you asking for permit to carry out the possession, and you know it's a sensitive place, Hindu-dominated place. Would you allow that? So at that point of time, the argument that we are having today, you will use them directly. That's as an IS.
That I think he meant there is a new rule saying that all news channels should play 30 minutes of public awareness news.
Achha,
That has
I
come
don't
in the
know.
paper.
I'm not aware of it. Okay.
It's come in the papers a couple of days ago. All news channels
Oh,
must show public awareness news for 30 minutes.
अब क्या फायदा होगा 30 minutes make if for example I slot 30 minutes in early morning at 2 o'clock, it will not serve. I don't think it will serve the purpose by any measure. What I'm trying to say, first we have to do is we have to control this media. It's dividing the country very fast. Clear as सबको the issue that we are discussing, and please the argument that we are having now, if you're writing, please write one of them or any of them. It will be very helpful when you will be writing ethics paper or an interview, or most important governance. How we can forget governance? हाँ, channel change कर लेते तो clear है. तो PFI we understood what is the essence of the news. PFI has been made out of the banned organizations, but PFI try to basically capture the dissatisfaction among the Muslims, this disenchanted and marginalized Muslims. But the problem is it will not work. Why it will not work? Because these Muslims are already there, and if PFI is not there, somebody else will come. नेशनल इंटरेस्ट अब क्या बोले उनके बारे में, तो ठीक है. अब फैक्टर्स देखिए, वी हैव लिस्टेड फैक्टर्स दैट लेड टू द इमर्जेंस ऑफ पॉपुलर फ्रंट ऑफ इंडिया. आई टोल्ड यू द राइज ऑफ हिंदुत्व एजेंडा, current government represent that politics, and Babri mosque demolition. We discussed Babri mosque. Do you remember in earlier news we discussed the Mandal Kamandal politics? The Babri mosque demolition was the part of that Mandal Kamandal. It was a part of that. Political Islam in Iranian revolution. Yes, this term is very important. Political Islam. These people who are doing jihad, they are using Islam as a political tool. The same way the people who are lynching Muslims in the name of Hindus, they are not Hindus. They are using Hindu to justify their radicalization. You're getting point? Hindus are not radical. These people are radical. They are taking the Bhagwa, our Bhagwa, and demeaning it. The same way these jihadi, they are taking Islam and demeaning it, taking some provision out of the entire text and using it for their own purpose. That is political Islam. When you take Islam, politicize it to use it for your own purpose. So these are the reasons that PFI came to power. The Hindutva agenda of current government, which is largely blamed for the rise of disenchantment among the Muslims, and being the largest 20 around I think 13 to 15% Muslims are there. They are a big pool to radicalize. They are a very big pool to radicalize. And if you try to radicalize Hindus in a single vote bank, then of course the Muslims will be radicalized as a single vote bank. And this time they will be the vote bank not of the political parties, but for organizations like PFI. I told you it's very easy. If you are deprived, for example, a policeman comes, there is a Hindu and a Muslim. A policeman beats the Muslim only because that person is saying something against the Prime Minister. So what will happen? It will be captured by the cell phone or somewhere, then it will be uploaded to social medias, and then the single clip, that person may be mentally ill. That police person who beat up Muslim only because that person is saying against something against Modi. Modi ji ordered that person, kya? Nahi na. Modi ji did not order that policeman to beat him. But that person, in order to appease his political masters, be it that Muslim, somebody records that, uploads on social media. Now that single event that has nothing to do with anything will become a radicalization video for lakhs of Muslims. Clear? That's how social media also plays its part. सबको दिखाया जाएगा, देखिए कितना अत्याचार हो रहा है, चाहे होना रहा हो. ये तो है. आई थिंक गवर्नेंस में वी हैव डिस्कस्ड. अच्छा, वी हैव आल्सो डिस्कस्ड दिस, that how this media plays a part of radicalization. We have discussed. So everything you can combine. So ban on PFI. What are the reasons given by the government to ban? First, radicalizing the particular section of the society. बिल्कुल सही point. Indulge in unlawful activity that determines integrity, sovereignty, and security of the country. बिल्कुल सही point. Both points are exactly right. Support militancy in the country. Exactly. All these points are right, but they are what? They are symptom, not the causes. They are symptoms of a disease. They are not the causes of the disease. The causes is the poisonous politics we have today. The poisonous politics of Hindu Muslim every second and the media of India, including social media. They are the causes. These are the symptoms. If you treat symptom, then you can never treat a disease. Treat the causes. ठीक है? आगे जल्दी से let's do this. हाँ, इसमें देखिए, one thing you have to understand, one thing that the government has done very beautiful. What they have done is, so that nobody blame that UAPA is being abused. So that nobody blame the government, current government, that they are abusing UPA, they have included a term intermediary. I think it's a very good thing. BJP has done this thing very good. What they have done is, under UAPA, if any organization is put for banning, if government says that this organization has to be banned, the government directly cannot ban that organization. They will issue a notification under UAPA. Then it will go to UAPA tribunal. They have an intermediary tribunal which is headed by a high court judge. What will happen? The government will say this organization shall be banned. Government will say it shall be banned. For example, PFI shall be banned. Then it will go to what? UAPA tribunal. UAPA tribunal headed by a high court judge. And then this tribunal will either agree or disagree. If it agrees, then the PFI will be banned. It has been banned basically. Or if it disagree, then nothing will happen. So this thing that they have included in between, a very good idea. By this, you cannot blame the government for the ban, because a Supreme Court judge is evaluating the reasons. And the Supreme Court judge found, yes, there are compelling reasons to ban, then only it is banned. Clear everyone, the process under UAPA? ठीक है, तो let me summarize this news for different papers. So it's ethics, governance, and polity. Let me and internal security. Let me summarize this news. So the news summary is, first, there is an act called UAPA. It is believed to impinge on freedom of speech, but there is a difficult balance you have to achieve between your national security and freedom of speech. So that's a balance you have to achieve. क्या कर सकते हैं उसका? So UAPA में government can ban any organization and can brand anyone as a terrorist. Remember this, a very innovative thing. Before, earlier UAPA you could ban an organization only. You cannot brand any person as terrorist. But Modi government in 2019 amended UAPA and added one provision that now individual can be designated terrorist. Earlier government can tag somebody as terrorist. Only it can ban an organization. But now the government can even brand you as a terrorist and put you behind bar. For 6 months, you can be put behind bar if you are branded as a terrorist without any appeal. You cannot go to court. You will be arrested and put behind bar for 6 months without any recourse to justice. So this is I bit up very harsh. We should have this kind of process. This banning wala, you have a process, not this intermediary structure. I believe this should also be here. That if you arrest an individual, he must be produced to a court within 24 hours. And only after that, if the court certifies, then you can keep that person for 6 months. We need that reform there. I hope clear support the news, all the dimension, whatever I could think I have covered. Will you guys any question you have in mind, please ask. It's a very important news for internal security, especially. Ethics maybe you can use as कोई issue नहीं है. बाकी everything that I have listed, please read it by yourself. Unlawful, prohibit use of this and that. Please read by yourself. कुछ खास नहीं है इसमें. Okay, this judgment is very beautiful. We need to know this. Asif Iqbal Tanha. I think he, पता नहीं, maybe breakup may have happened or something. Asif Iqbal Tanha. Tanha means alone. So Asif Iqbal Tanha filed a petition in Delhi High Court. हो सकता है ब्रेकअप हो गया बेचारे का, ठीक है, तो इसलिए कोर्ट चला गया होगा. It's a national capital territory. Ram, do you understand that Delhi is not a state nor UT. We have two kind of territories. State, where you have full-fledged government, you have UTs, union territories, which are directly controlled by the center. Delhi has a special status. It is somewhere between both. It is here. Delhi is neither an UT nor a state. It is National Capital Territory. The entire name of Delhi is NCT of Delhi or National Capital Territory of Delhi. Clear? Okay. So Asif Iqbal Tanha, this person filed a petition in Delhi High Court against this UAPA. कि भाई, this government is abusing UAPA. नहीं, Afifa, it is neither state nor UT. It has an autonomous character. It is neither state nor UT. We do not count it in both because some part of it works like a UT, some part of it works like a state. It is somewhere between. We do not count. We count it as a special territory. That is NCT of Delhi. Clear, Afifa? Okay. So a petition was filed by Asif Iqbal Tanha against UAPA. That it asked the Delhi High Court, sir, please lay some guidelines for UAPA. Because look at this. In 2015, when Modi government has just come in power, 897 cases were filed. And in 2019 alone, 1,126 cases are filed. It's too much. These much of cases are filed. I cannot believe that many people you are branding that many people as terrorists and banning that many organizations. It's too much. Banning PFI is one thing. Of course, that was a heinous organization. Banning SIMI is one thing. But so many cases, so it's something is wrong somewhere. We have to evaluate that. So for that purpose, the Asif Iqbal Tanha filed a petition. Sir, there are so many cases in this UAPA. Please put some guidelines. Lay down some important guidelines so that government does not abuse this provision. This was basically their argument. So this case was in a case of Delhi riots. We all know anti-CAA protest. I think आप में से किसी का anyone who has no idea about Citizenship Amendment Act. In polity, it must be taught in chapter 2 of citizenship. सबका कवर है ना? अंबर का नहीं हुआ है. ओके, तो दमन का भी नहीं हुआ है. ओके, तो you people, so let me give you a very brief idea. We cannot go in detail. Okay. In polity, I think my polity student have covered this. Okay. CAA basically it's a Citizenship Amendment Act. It was an act by the Parliament which provides citizenship to everyone except Muslim. It says that anyone who has come to India before 2014, anyone who has come to India before 2014, except Muslim, they can be given citizenship of India. except Muslim, they can be given citizenship of India. So a lot of people in Delhi protested because they saw this as an example of excluding Muslim from citizenship. I cannot go in detail, but it appears so. If you link the hierarchy, it appears very troubling act. So for that, a large number of people protested. Delhi was the epicenter of the protest, and at that point of time, the election of Delhi was also going on. So it was hyped too much. The hype was so high that it got converted into riot. I have personally witnessed this riot. In my life, the only riot that I have witnessed personally was the Delhi riots. I was in Delhi, and the area where it took place, I live East Delhi. It was in Northeast Delhi, so some blocks away. So I may not actively seen the riots, but I was, you can say, on the periphery of the riots area. Donald Trump visited India. तब हुए थे. So in this case, what happened? Government of India filed a lot of UAPA cases. A lot of people were put under UAPA cases. So उसमें अब ठीक है, इसमें dispute है. Even Delhi High Court has outrightly basically said very strong words to Delhi police. ये बहुत चीजें हुई थी, अब उस पर साइड नहीं ले सकते. So the anti-CA protest took place. It converted into riot. A lot of cases were filed in UAPA. For that, Asif Iqbal Tanha went to Delhi High Court. He said, please put some guidelines so that government cannot abuse them whenever they want. In this, Supreme Court gave very beautiful, Delhi High Court gave very beautiful observations. What are they? First, it says the word terrorist act must be trivialized as much as possible. It says, please do not brand anyone who speak against you as a terrorist. At this, I have to stop and tell you one thing. Everyone who may be new or not aware of my classes, that remember, some trivialize means weaken. Trivialize means weaken. Normal, something casual wala thing. Because when I say terrorist, you think of something very extreme. So they are saying, do not brand anyone as a terrorist. For example, if I protest against the government, I try to barge into, Prime Minister is going, for example, Prime Minister is going from a road. I try to barge in from his convoy. I take my car, I try to barge in his convoy just to convey my point that what you are doing is wrong. So they will brand me terrorist, outrightly put UAP on me. Why? Because I try to barge in Prime Minister's convoy. So that act may appear as a very severe act, but by this point, it is not a terrorist act, because at that point of time, I was not trying to kill the Prime Minister or anything, or anyone. I was not trying to kill anyone. All I was trying to do is so that the Prime Minister listened to my complaint. Got the point? Trivialize FIFA. Okay. Okay. So we are discussing this point, why this point is important. The word terrorist act should be trivialized as much as possible. Terrorist act. At this point, please remember this thing. Somebody's terrorist is somebody's patriot. Always. Let me give you a very good example, non-Indian example, of course. This thing, Afghanistan mein, in Afghanistan, what happened in 1979? There is a country called USSR. This is something you will study in two places: international relation and world history. Both places you will study this. This USSR went to Afghanistan. So when USSR went to Afghanistan, USSR had a fight with USA. Both were enemy country of each other. USA thought, what I can do for USSR? How shall I root of USSR? Then USA took Pakistan. Yes, superpower. Great nahi fever. Great mane powerful. Superpower, which is super of above great powers. So USA go to Pakistan and says create mujahideens. Mujahideens, I think, fighter of Allah or something, or Islam. So USA went to Pakistan, gave money and guns, weapons and money. It gave to Pakistan and asked the Pakistan to raise mujahideens. And then these mujahideen were sent to Afghanistan to fight USSR. So rather than fighting directly with USSR, because USA knew if I fight directly with USSR, it will be a world war. And I have nuclear weapon, USSR has nuclear weapon, everything will end. So it cannot afford that. So it said that Pakistan, you create mujahideen, radicalize these Muslims and create the mujahideen, send those mujahideen to fight in Afghanistan against USSR. ठीक है, you understand this, these mujahideen. And later on what happened when USSR in 1989 USSR went away, it left Afghanistan. After 1989, these very mujahideen, out of these mujahideen, some people among the mujahideen formed the Taliban. Taliban was the part of mujahideen. These were the people who fought as mujahideen against USSR in Afghanistan. Then this Taliban, which we know today, this Taliban was branded by USA as a terrorist organization. So understand the difference. When these people fighted for USA against USSR, they were patriots. These mujahideen were present in White House. There are photos. You can Google this. You can Google this. Google this. These people were present in White House with American president. American president was sitting along with them. They were sitting, these mujahideens, and he was calling to the national press that these are the freedom fighters of Afghanistan. And when these people became Taliban and attacked USA, then they became terrorists. You're getting the politics, how it works. That's why I say somebody's terrorist is always somebody's patriot. I can take Indian example, then I will end this news. Kafi ho gaya is pe bhi. Okay, Indian example is Bhagat Singh. We all know Bhagat Singh was hanged for what? Bhagat Singh was hanged because he threw a bomb in Central Legislative Assembly. It is like Parliament of today's India. Imagine like this: if so Bhagat Singh did that, threw that bomb not to kill anyone, just to make the Britishers hear. He said, "I have thrown this bomb to make the deaf hear." बहरों को सुनाना है मुझे. He achieved the purpose. He threw that bomb for us. So we call him patriot, a Deshbhakt. But he threw that bomb against Britishers. So for Britishers, he is a terrorist. That's why he was hanged. You got the point. Imagine like this. If I am as an Indian, if BJP brings some policies against Gupta community, say for example, do I have a right to throw a bomb in parliament? I will not kill anyone. I will just make the Bahari government here. I will be branded terrorist outrightly. You got the point. I will be branded terrorist. But for Gupta people, for my Gupta community, I will be a patriot. You got the point. Somebody's terrorist is always somebody's patriot. If that point is very clear, then you will understand the first point Supreme Court is saying. Oh, sorry, High Court has said that please trivialize this point. Please trivialize this point. Please trivialize this terrorist act. Do not use whenever you like. So please, if there is any question on internal security, in internal security any paper, use this point. How you will use this point? You will write as said by Delhi High Court in Asif Iqbal Tanha case, that every action done by an individual may be severe but cannot be a terrorist. Of course, how you will use this line in internal security paper or ethics also you can use. With that, this is Supreme Court. So the High Court gave this point based on the Supreme Court decision in Hitendra Vishnu Thakur case, where Supreme Court said that every terrorist is a criminal, but every criminal may not be a terrorist. Clear point? If I'm doing a criminal kills somebody, but that may not be a terrorist. That is what Supreme Court has said. So सबको clear how you will use these lines. You will use these lines in internal security while writing, or governance or ethics, while writing a question which involves the security of the state versus freedom of speech. Oh, pen drop. Clear हुआ? थक गए इतना पढ़ा पढ़ा के? ठीक है, तो this is all about UP. एक last है, this is a very small news. Let me cover climate change. This is in your. The next news that we have to cover is climate change. Climate change, it is from your GS3 paper. GS3 mein there is a topic of environment. Yes, you can cover it at two places, GS3 environment, as well as you can cover this news in GS1 geography. At both places you can cover. This news is a very handy news for both places. GS1 geography and GS3 environment, both places. So what is the thing that is happening is, we all know climate change is happening. what do we understand by climate change? We understand by climate change is global warming. Global warming means what happens. This is from geography. What happens? This is Earth. You have your atmosphere. So this atmosphere, this is sun, for example. Sun sends short wavelength. People who are not from science background do not ponder over this word too much. Just understand a very big idea. Achha, science and tech can also be covered. Science and tech is also there. So what happens? This sun sends radiation. The heat that you call is actually radiation. Scientific term is radiation. That radiation comes in the form of short size, short wavelength. Wavelength is like this. Short means like this, and long means like this. Okay? Itna samajh liye, zyada do not go in detail. So these are the short wavelengths. They come here, they strikes the earth, they heats the earth. Infrared rays is a part. Priyanshi, it's a part of it's a entire spectrum. All the rays come from sun. Infrared is a part of it. Clear, Priyanshi? Okay. So what happens? The sun has here, it sends short wavelength. It has short wavelength means this type wala. Not a big bulge, I would say. Okay. It passes from our atmosphere easily. It reaches the earth, heats the earth, and when it hits the earth emits the radiation back. But this wala is longer wavelength. So what comes to the earth is shorter wavelength. What goes out of the earth is longer wavelength. And this thing, this atmosphere, our atmosphere नहीं क्या longer wavelength आती है? अच्छा, मुझे लगा कि पढ़ा हो longer wavelength आते हैं देख ले. ठीक है. So outgoing long होती है ना, वही मुझे लास्ट के आता था. Actually, science and tech is not my very forte, you can say. ठीक है. That is science and tech teacher will teach you. Anyway, so what happens is it emits longer wavelengths. So this environment or this atmosphere we have, it does not allow this longer wavelength to passes from here. And that's why the Earth's temperature keeps on rising. And that is called global warming. And that leads to climate change. Clear यहाँ तक सबको, everyone? हाँ, yes, but that's very temporal. Yes, something Abhay has written, it will be covered in science and tech. Coronal hole, they are intense magnetic place. That's different, Abhay, and that does not bring much change because they are very small. But if there is very big coronal hole, that's a different thing. But it will be covered soon. Sun पे बहुत coronal holes पाए जाते हैं, very small. So it does not bring very big change. ठीक है? बाकी डिटेल में तो साइंस एंड टेक में विल बी कवर्ड बेटर. यहाँ तक anyone any confusion up clear? कुछ पूछना you can ask. But is climate change anything? कुछ नहीं है, ठीक. So what has happened is we have signed something called as in environment. It will be taught an agreement that we know by the name of Paris Agreement. In Paris, all countries of the world, all countries. How many countries are in the world? I said all countries. Now, how many countries are in the world? Anyone knows that? सबने अलग-अलग नंबर लिखा है. Yes, the 193 number is right. 196 is wrong. 193 countries. In the world, we have 193 countries. We have two so far not recognized. Two of them are Palestine and Holy See. Holy See, which is the Pope state, Vatican City, which we call. It is by the name of Holy See. So two countries are yet to be recognized. We have 193 so far. Okay? So once these two come in, it will become 195. No, they are different. Kyoto Pact is an old one that was signed under something different. That's an altogether different thing. Paris Agreement is the most recent one. It's different. Kyoto is different. Paris is different. Okay, but that will take another complete class. क्या हमारी जीके की वो रॉन्ग थी? इट इज शॉर्टेस्ट कंट्री, कहाँ लिखा था, किस जीके की? वेटिकन सिटी. Vatican City is not recognized yet. It is in the process, but it is not recognized as a country yet. So we have 193 official countries. 2 are still for application. Once they are recognized by the United Nations, they will become country, proper country. ठीक है प्रियांश? ठीक है, चलिए. So what has happened is Paris Agreement has been signed. Under Paris Agreement, we have all the countries, that is 193 countries of the world, they have agreed to limit the rise of the earth, sorry, temperature rise of the earth, because I told you if the temperature will rise, global warming is that, and it will lead to climate change. Climate change means erratic weather. Sometimes there is severe flood, as we have seen, for example, in Chennai and some places. Severe flood. Sometimes there is severe cold wave. Some place there is severe drought. So all these severe events are happening because Earth is getting warmed up. And with warming up, the climate is altering its course. And it is impacting entire humanity. To prevent this thing, we signed an agreement by the name of Paris Agreement. 193 countries agreed on that. So what is the news? The news is a lot of countries are doing greenwashing. Everyone remember this term greenwashing. Maybe ask in prelims directly. So because prelims mein UPSC love this kind of concept. They can directly ask what is greenwashing, and there will be few options. You have to select the right one. So remember this term greenwashing. What is greenwashing? Greenwashing means the way you have whitewash. You do whitewash. What you do? You take clothes and you wash them. You basically remove the dirt and make them new. That is whitewashing something. Something called as greenwashing. So compare the same thing. What you are doing? You are taking a thing that is not green, means that is not environmentally friendly, and then you are washing it, making green. Clear? So what is happening? For example, our country is emitting too much of carbon dioxide. So what it will do? It will change its account. It may be emitting, say, for example, 10 kilogram of carbon dioxide, but it will list that I am only emitting 8 kilogram. But that's a genuine thing. That is not greenwashing. Greenwashing of some other, you are not working for the environment. You are fudging your accounts. You are emitting 10 kg of carbon dioxide, a greenhouse gas, and then you are listing only 8 kgs on official record, which you are sending to the United Nations as part of Paris Agreement. In that, you are just saying that I have only spent 8 kgs. So you are greenwashing your emissions. That is what greenwashing means, and it is for all. Not only countries, even corporations are doing this. For example, Petroleum आप समझिएगा होंगे, something that petrol and diesel, it emits greenhouse gases, and those people are saying we do not emit greenhouse gases. नहीं, adaptation is very different. There you're not getting the point what I'm trying to say. Yes, बिल्कुल सही. Gorangi has hit the right spot. What they are doing is they are intensely, this corporate sector. I took the example of BP, British Petroleum, and other companies. That is here, private companies. So what is doing government and private companies? They're intentionally fudging their account. They're intentionally using, for example, spend 10 rupees on a climate sensitive ad and get 10,000 rupees of funding. The Gorangi has pointed out. These things are happening. All these tactics of not working for environment, but showing the world that you're working for environment is greenwashing. It's an eye wash hota hai na? Eye wash, same thing. Concept is same. सबको क्लियर हो रहा है व्हाट इज ग्रीन वॉशिंग? ओके, so this is the news, that is the news that अभी इसमें हुआ नहीं है, that United Nations Secretary General, he is the top boss of the United Nations, Antonio Guterres. This person has warned all the private companies that you are doing greenwashing, and we know this, and there will be zero tolerance for this, because COP27 is about to have ongoing COP, conference of parties. All the 193 countries which are member of, which have signed Paris Agreement, are known as parties, and when they all come together at a place, it is known as conference of parties. Okay, so they are saying please do not do greenwash. We know you are doing this and we will take action if required. Clear sabko what is the news? It's a very important thing. Remember everyone what is greenwashing. Boliye, any question you have please ask. pen dropped and everything is dropped here right now. थक गया यार। ठीक है। Oh, thank you Tildi.
So are these is UN coming up with a policy to detect companies and firms which fake the which carry out greenwashing, or is it just a warning that is given to everyone?
It is a warning and देखिए इसमें लिखा है ना, it's an ongoing climate meeting. It is ongoing, and if the country promises and company promises we will not do this, then there may not be any action. But if they do, then there is stern warning to them that we will do something about this. So एक बार warning देनी पड़ती है ना, it's a warning kind of thing. Maybe in this conference something may come up. We have to wait for the conclusion of conference. When conference conclude, then the final notification will come. Then we will come to know what action they are taking.
Right, yeah? Got it. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
हाँ, but time हो गया I know. अभी वैसे ही बाकी है. It will make a difference. FIFA लेकिन no, imagine if in this conference you name British Petroleum particularly. If you take the name of British Petroleum in front of entire world, then all the money British Petroleum has spent on advertisement that is a climate sensitive company will go away. कोई भी नाम नहीं चाहता अपना, so they will desist. Of course they will desist. It's a very bad publicity. Clear FIFA? चलिए, तो and बताइए any question कुछ पूछना है, you can ask when we end the class. नहीं बोलता, चलिए ठीक है. So we will meet again next Saturday for current event, and we will continue to meet for polity, economy, whatever classes are going on. And again, I believe a lot of you people have my mail ID. कभी भी कुछ भी problem आए, not only for current event, any problem you get, do mail me. You can ask anything, any issue you get, please do mail. Clear? But give me time to reply. थोड़े mail ज़्यादा आ जाते हैं, problem रहती है. चलिए. We will meet again on Monday. Have a nice day, everyone. And for the current event people, we will meet next Saturday. I will upload the notes, Gurangi. तो उसमें actually you can take from the other students ना, वो कुछ आते हैं. I think that Ritu and some student they come, so they have covered this. I have created the notes for them, so you can take from there. This PDF is available from the portal. Clear?